Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. If you do go on to enjoy this one, then leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more content just like this. Today we start things off with Dave Smith on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he's talking about a time in history where monarchs were removed, but then this brought in the rise of other powerful figures like Hitler, Stalin, and others. He jokes about how people may have regretted taking away the monarchy.
Learned in history that we really should have, but in World War I, Woodrow Wilson said he was going to make the world safe for democracy. That was the American mission in World War I. And at the time, the world certainly was not safe for democracy. I mean, Europe was all monarchs, pretty much. And we overthrew the monarchs. The monarchy's pretty much lost. And the ones that are still there are like monarchies in name only, you know, England and stuff like that. And then in the next decades, you had the rise of Hitler, Stalin, or Lenin, and then Stalin. And you're like, oh man, those monarchs don't seem so bad all of a sudden now, you know? Like, oh shit, it turns out you could get rid of something and something much worse can come after it.
He explained that even though you may get rid of something, in the end it is possible that something worse can come. A little message to those people who do something without a plan after. He followed this up with Obama's handling of Gaddafi being overthrown and made a reference to how Obama admitted that not having a plan for after was a huge mistake.
Who even goes, you know, I think he acknowledged at one point that Libya was his biggest mistake. And he said not having a plan for the day after Gaddafi was overthrown was a big mistake. And it's like, yeah, I sure wish we had just lived through Iraq. Like, how could you not see that coming?
Right.
How could you not be like, oh yeah, and then after that, still tried to overthrow Assad in Syria.
As you can see, Dave didn't hold back on what he thought of Obama's actions when it came to that. Next, at number 3, we have Dave Smith on his podcast, where he was talking about the State of the Union address that took place recently. He sarcastically mocked the people in attendance and how they were wearing masks and social distancing even though they had been vaccinated.
Masked Kamala Harris and Nancy Pelosi behind him. He's not wearing a mask because he's giving the speech, but they are wearing a mask, even though they've both been vaccinated, because they're sitting behind him.
He keeps his mask for Zoom calls.
Yes, that's right. He wears a mask on a Zoom call, but not while he's giving his speech. People have to wear masks in the audience, even though they're socially distant and they've been vaccinated, because those are the rules.
When speeches are over, you don't have to socially distance anymore. You can get as
no.
close as you need. It's
right
only
up to
during
each other.
speeches, yeah.
Yep,
He kept pointing out how contradicting some of these things were, questioning why they were wearing masks if they already have the vaccine, and how social distancing went out of the window as soon as the speech ended. He found the whole thing rather weird. Now we have Dave Smith on his own podcast making an interesting observation about some things that Joe Biden said. There were horrible things happening in China in regards to the Uyghur Muslims, and Biden commented on them, saying that it's a cultural norm in that country and that's why he wouldn't make a big deal out of it.
shouting the N-word at someone or something. There's just terrible things the president could say that you think they should be impeached for. Just talk me through this and talk really slow and
really
use really simple words so I can understand how somehow apologizing for a genocide as a cultural preference.
Dave was shocked by this and thinks that Biden is essentially inciting genocide. He poked fun at the fact that Biden said that this is all just cultural differences. This time, Dave's on his podcast speaking about the COVID vaccines yet again. He had appeared on the Joe Rogan podcast recently and shared his views about the vaccine, and it trended in a big way. Publications even started writing articles about him and all sorts. He took a bit of a shot at Vice for getting something about him wrong in that article.
Oh, look, I mean, like in the Vice article, which, by the way, I appreciate Vice for, I was able to shame them into making a correction because they referred to me as a Republican comedian.
Why they switch it to Christian conservative for accuracy?
That's right. Excuse me, I am an alt-right neo-Nazi, Vice.
He called them out for making the mistake, and then he jokingly said that he was a neo-Nazi, having got things wrong when they said that he was a Republican. Even his co-host cracked a funny joke about it. Now we end things off with Dave talking about Vice since they wrote an article about him. We already saw that he called them out in one of the earlier clips, but this time he took even more shots at them. Hear what he had to say.
I read the Vice article, and I feel a little uncomfortable reading an article from a publication that once platformed Gavin McInnes, but, you know, I was able to get past that. They have some problematic associations, but I'm okay with that.
He believes that Vice has a lot of questionable associations. To be honest, it doesn't look like Vice is in Smith's good books. He just keeps coming for them. Thanks for watching this video, everyone. If you did enjoy it, then why not subscribe and leave a like so that you don't miss out on anything else just like this. Goodbye for now, guys, and we'll see you in the next video.